Welcome to Voicebox. We are live on all the things, all the channels. I think we're live. Are we live on my Facebook or just the YouTube? Everywhere, baby. And we are, of course, at the Jam Lab in Brookfield. I'm Cathy Richardson. I'm the musical portion of Voicebox, the storytelling night with a musical twist. And it is our 100th show tonight, which is very amazing and exciting. Yeah. So for those who don't know, there's every month there's a theme for the stories, and it's a song title. And I'll start out the night playing the theme song, and then the storytellers will one at a time tell their fabulous, amazing, true, personal stories in that theme, and I will listen to their stories for the first time with you, the listening audience, and I will become spontaneously inspired to play a song based on their stories, and a magical explosion of awesomeness will unfold before your very eyes. Yeah, and we hope it'll be good. So it's Born to Run is the theme tonight. In the day we sweated out on the streets of a runaway American dream. At night we'd ride through mansions of glory and suicide machines. Sprung from cages on Highway 9, chrome wheel, feel ejected and stepping out of a line. Oh, baby, this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. We gotta get out while we're young. 'Cause honey, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. When you let me in, I wanna be your friend. I wanna guard your dreams and visions. Just wrap your legs around these velvet rims. Just strap your hands across my engines. Together we could break this trap. We'll run till we drown, but baby, we'll never go back. Oh, will you walk with me out on the wire? 'Cause baby, I'm just a scared and lonely rider, but I gotta know how it feels. I wanna know if love is wild, I wanna know if love is real. Saxophone! Beyond the palace, semi-powered drones scream down the boulevard. Girls comb their hair in the rearview mirrors, and the boys try to look so hard. The amusement park rises bold and star. Kids are huddled in the beach in a mess. I wanna die with you, Andy, on the streets tonight in an everlasting kiss. Hey! Highways jam with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. Everybody's out on a run tonight, but there's no place left to hide. Together, Wendy, we can live with the sadness. I love you with all the madness in my soul. Oh, someday, girl, I don't know when we're gonna get to that place where we really wanna go, and we'll walk in the sun. But till then, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Come on. tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Come on, when it tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Oh. Thanks, everybody. Now, please welcome to the stage the hostess with the mostest, the creatrix of Voicebox, the redheaded, irreverent Reverend Maureen Muldoon.
Cathy Richardson, our 100th show. Oh, no. Holy water.
Not the SERP.
100 shows, Cathy.
Yes.
How the hell did that happen? Cheers. So I'm going to do my opening little monologue in a Jersey accent for Bruce, because I am Jersey born, and Bruce Springsteen is our patron saint. And I was definitely born to run my mouth. I come from a long line of blabbermouths. My mother was a total blabbermouth. My father told us that my mother had the phone surgically connected to her head. so she could carry on 2 conversations at one time. Usually it was more like 8 conversations at one time. And my sisters, 5 older sisters, 2 younger brothers, or 5 chatty Cathys, and 2 other blabbermouths. And we kept the house just buzzing completely. Now, my sisters would call me Brenda Starr. Does anybody remember Brenda Starr? Yeah? Yeah. They would call me Brenda Starr, and whenever I came around them, because I was the youngest, they'd go, Brenda's here, which meant, don't say anything important, because Maureen is going to deliver it right to Mom's ears. I was a snitch, a tattletale. I was a fink. I was an informer. I was not impeccable with my words at all. And I hated being called Brenda Starr, but unfortunately, I completely earned it. But my whole family was like that. We were very loose at the lips. So when my first husband came over to visit us, he came to my family's house, and my sisters and brothers were sitting around the table, drinking and smoking and telling stories. That's what we did. And after a whole night of this, the next morning, he sees me, my husband, and he says, oh my God, your family. He's like, all they do is drink, drink, smoke, smoke, yak, yak. And he meant it as a slight. But when I told my sisters, they took it as a slogan. They were like, drink, drink, smoke, smoke, yak, yak. Get T-shirts made now. So it's not too surprising that I should spend my life helping people find their voices and telling their stories. I got to stop the Jersey thing. I'm sorry, it's driving me crazy. I went to speech therapy when I was a child. I'm talking just fine, right? So it's not too surprising that I should spend so much time helping people find their voice and to tell their stories. And this has been an amazing ride for me, to be able to see all of the amazing storytellers who struggled to get up on stage, who said, no way, I'm not telling a story, and who slowly crept their way to the 5 sentences, if you remember that, where everybody was allowed to tell 5-sentence stories, until we had to put the kibosh on that, because some people did not know how to count to 5. And so we had to shut that down. And then do you guys remember the pocket full of fishes? Yeah, so we got some good storytellers at a pocket full of fishes, where I sent away for thousands of plastic baby fish. Everyone got some in when they came in, and if you told a good story, somebody could slip a fish into your pocket. I didn't think at the time how, like, the sexual innuendos about it, because they're obviously there, slip them the fish, baby. So But when I first came here from Los Angeles to Chicago, I didn't know anyone, and I was in desperate need of friends. And I heard that you guys were all really nice, and I thought that this would be super easy because people from the Midwest are really nice. And it was a big fat lie because you're all horrible, evil people, and you've proven it on the stage by confessing all of the terrible things that you probably should be put in jail for. But the first person who really broke that myth was when I got to meet Cathy Richardson. And yeah, woohoo! And she came over my house, and we met and we hung out, but I didn't know she was a singer. And so it really wasn't until about a couple weeks into being friends with her, I'll say, that I really got to meet her. Because when I really got to meet her is when I got to see her sing. And Cathy Richardson doesn't really sing. What she does is closer to magic. And I wanted to be a part of that magic. And so I pitched her a show called Toast and Jam. I was like, Cathy, this is gonna be big. Toast and Jam. It was about 2 years before we actually got a theater, and I seduced her into the theater with me and 5 motley friends that I happened to have at the time. I might have paid them to show up, I'm not sure. And she came in and she watched the show. And then she said yes, and then we got snowed out the second show, and she got us into Fitzgerald's. And we started out in this small room, and we kept saying to the audience, we're going to the big house, we're going to the big room. And we got to the big room together. And we filled that room with so much spirit and so many beautiful stories. Some of my favorite was when we got to see that man on stage in that tight Speedo. What was that about? Had to be there. Or when our friend Frankie got a standing ovation. That was a beautiful moment. We got to go through some elections together. We got to go and ride through the whole COVID thing together. And still we stayed together telling stories around the fire, even when the fire got so dumb and dill. Dumb and dill? No, that's not the words I'm looking for. Dim, that would be a better word. But even though the fire was dim, you have always been brilliant. Yes. And I really appreciate the brilliance that you brought into my life and to Cathy's life. Thank you for celebrating 100 shows of awesomeness with us for the happiest night of the year. No, the happiest night of the month. So before we start our storytellers, and we have some great storytellers tonight, we are bringing up 2 of our super fans who wanted to share a word or two about their experience at Voicebox. So Mary Lou Edwards and Terry Falloon, Mr. Voicebox, please come on up to the stage.
About a month after the tragedy of 9/11, I felt compelled as a New Yorker at heart to visit the city. After a few days of wandering old haunts, surrounded by devastation and sadness, I needed to lift my spirits. So I went to the Village and found a production of Love, Janis, the story of Janis Joplin's life, written by her sister. I reasoned the story would be sad, but the music would be dynamite, I knew, and it was. In large part because of the rock star singing Janis, whom I'd never heard of, but who definitely was Broadway material. Her performance was absolutely brilliant. The music, off the charts. Pay attention. This is the closest we'll ever get to a Janis concert, I said to my daughter. Leah, who sat mesmerized through the entire show. You didn't even need to close your eyes to see another little piece of Janis's heart. With every song, this diva nailed it. The program said the singing Janis, there was a speaking Janis too, but the program said the singing Janice was from Elmhurst, Illinois. And I have to make a confession. I thought, this has got to be a typo. This kind of mega talent has to come from New York. Fast forward a couple of decades, and I meet Terry Falloon at a storytelling event. And he suggests I bring my stories to Voicebox. And when I get to Voicebox, and this is a little woo-woo for me, I find out that Elmhurst, Illinois was not a typo. The star who holds up half of the musical sky at Voicebox turns out to be the very woman who out-Janiced Janice at the play in the Village. None other than Cathy Richardson. And I found her still rocking, still storytelling with her music, and still blowing audiences away. As if that wasn't enough, Voicebox introduced me to Maureen Muldoon, the other half of the partnership that created this powerful venue where people come to connect with others via the art of storytelling, sharing tales of triumphs and tragedies, coming outs, bumping intos, and everything in between. It's not easy talking about Maureen because it could easily get obsequious and sound like a paid political announcement. Maureen wears many banners with her Queen of Everything crown. Her ability to inspire, motivate, and encourage is legendary, and most will agree that she is a professional muse. For over 100 Voicebox shows, Maureen and Cathy have provided a forum from Fitzgerald's to Jam Lab during blizzards and pandemic, where people of all persuasions, colors, creeds, and backgrounds come to share their truth. And as Maya Angelou said, when the storyteller tells the truth, she reminds us that human beings are more alike than unalike. This ancient vehicle called storytelling delights with love and laughter, raises voices of the marginalized, trivialized, and overlooked, includes the wacky, the wounded, and the weird, and has been served up for over 100 shows. And for this, we thank Maureen Muldoon and Cathy Richardson.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Mary Lou. My name is Terry Falloon, and I want to thank you all for being here. This is the largest crowd that we've had since COVID started, so maybe that's a sign of something's getting back to normal. So, and thanks to the Jam Lab again. This has been a wonderful find for all of us to have another wonderful space. So I was not at the first show. I missed the Toast and Jam days, apparently. But I think I was at the third show and almost every show since then. So I've had a good run here. I've told a lot of stories. And really, most importantly, I've met a lot of really fine people from the whole spectrum of humanity. And it's been wonderful for month after month to ride this emotional roller coaster of joys and sadness and trauma and hilarity. It's just been that's what they do and we do at Voicebox, is just to present the human condition in all of its forms, and it's wonderful. And the building blocks to this wonderful community that has evolved are words and song. And so the other day I was thinking about words and song, and this is what became of that thought process. Words, and actually, if you're okay with this, Cathy, do you mind coming up for a minute, Cathy and Maureen? I'd love for you to be up here.
You're really shy.
Yeah.
Come on, Cat.
Yeah.
That's on stage.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Like this?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this?
this is good. Just close to me. Thank you. So,
Mr. Voicebox.
words and song. It is with words, it is with song. It's through connection that we learn to get along. It starts with you, it starts with me. We are creation, from the mountains to the sea. Words are light in darkness. Songs a golden glow. Together they're a perfect angel in the virgin snow. So twist a tale, so hum a hymn. The sand flows fast, my friends, so please begin. Go find your voice, go speak and sing, and let your story like a Sunday morning ring. It is with words, it is with song, it is with words, it is with song. So, thank you. And this is our words and thank you. Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, that was pretty awesome. And now I'm going to ask Mr. Voicebox to help me move my car because I parked in the bad girl place. But first, we're going to bring up our first storyteller. Why am I doing this? Let me stand up straight. Maureen Claffey has told her before, and she's back again to, what's that? Yes, you're the first storyteller. Well, you're not the first. There's been others before you who have warmed up the stage for you. So Maureen Claffey has told at Voicebox before, and she's come back with a beautiful ode to this story, Born to Run.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful to be here. Have we made it through COVID yet? Please? Okay. Okay. So, cars, sex, speed, and the promise of freedom. How perfectly, idyllically American. At 16 years old, I was ripe for all of it. The very first time that Bridget Bulger laid the vinyl on the turntable in the basement of her parents' house on Bonnie Bray Lane in suburban Hinsdale. I was forever changed by the music and the voice of Bruce Springsteen, and I can easily travel back in time to the moment I first experienced Born to Run. And in all of the decades since, I have craved the young Bruce, and I know I'm not alone in this. And yet there's something more ephemeral and eternal here in his lyrics, even with the mighty distraction of literally being able to smell. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, thanks. Smell, even with the mighty distraction of literally smelling his sweat burning through his Old Spice and feeling his leather jacket in the hand of my mind. Tight jeans, unbridled spirit, guitars, the haunt of the saxophone, rock and roll, and epic masculine sexuality that has become my personal fantasy. And yet, it is more. Bruce wrote and sang my mantra, Born to Run, the song that called me back to myself. And tonight, on this sacred altar of rock and roll, and on the anniversary of the 100th show of Voicebox, I offer tribute to the boss in his own lyrics. Somehow it felt perfect to me that his running and my own should be center stage. In the day, we sweated out on the streets of a runaway American dream. At night, we ride through mansions of glory in suicide machines. Sprung from cages out on Highway 9, chrome-wheeled, fuel-injected, and stepping out over the line. When was the first time you crossed the line, or any of the lines? Willingly or unwillingly, the lines of tradition and religion, rules, regulations, customs, and catechisms, to pass into the land of the pale, the beyond. And what followed? What did you find there? Was there judgment, betrayal, loss, confusion, and pain? Did you stop running? Did you start to run away rather than towards? Did you stop to look at the mess, the catastrophe, the yearning your spirit created, and then retreat? Did you repent, confess, beg forgiveness? Or did you, like I wish I had. Tell them all to fuck off. And did you keep running? Did you run with a free heart, a born-to-run heart, towards love and home? Did you refine those very specific realities to the longing of your soul, or did you, like me, for years run away from the wildness inside your very own self, fearful of its power and what it would consume, while the length of those years, always hearing both the sirens and the banshees' call to freedom? It really is enough to drive you insane. Oh, baby, this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. We got to get out while we're young. Because tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Yes, girl, we were. Trapped animals have been known to chew through their own limbs in an attempt to free themselves from a snare. That is most definitely the smarter move. Much smarter than waiting for the convenient and the expected end of mortal existence, without ever really having run hard towards life, lungs expended, heart beating, dreams and visions clearly in sight. It takes bravery and courage to spring the trap, and for me, once there were children involved, ones who needed love and protection and family, and to be honest, those are things I deeply cherish. I settled for addiction and a safe life protected and prescribed by a patriarchy and a religion. Addiction to my children's achievements, a life lived vicariously. Addiction to shoes and purses and pillows and homes and prestige and status. And these things take you down like multiple arrows in the back of a buffalo. It is a deadly real thing to starve your soul of what nourishes it, and I'm grateful to have escaped to life because it is a universal truth that tramps like us, all of us, we were born to run. Wendy, let me in. I want to be your friend. I want to guard your dreams and visions. Just wrap your legs around those velvet rims and strap your hands across my engines. Together we could break this trap. We'll run till we drop, and baby, we'll never go back. Oh, will you walk with me out on the wire? Because baby, I'm just a scared and a lonely rider, but I gotta know how it feels. I want to know that love is wild. I want to know that love is real. Can you show me? I knew that love was real. I knew it instinctively, like it was carved into my soul. I just briefly forgot. Decades, actually. Luckily, my soul remembered and knew the way. And luckily for me, remembering is running as well. Born to run, born to remember, realizing that I had a self, and not one that I would just continually give away in an effort to receive and experience love. Born to run, becoming my own best friend, born to run. My own best confidant, cherisher of my own dreams, born to run. Rememberer of my own divinity, born to run. Beyond the palace, Hemi-powered drones scream down the boulevard. Girls comb their hair in rearview mirrors, and the boys try to look so hard. I don't know why they do that. The amusement park rises bold and stark. Kids are huddled on the beach in a mist. I want to die with you, Wendy, on the streets tonight. In an everlasting kiss. The puzzle of the paradox, the pondering of romantic love. The romantic idea of losing yourself into another in order to satisfy the shared fucking experience of a human fucking life. Wanting it to be beautiful, learning to be comfortable while being alone, learning that I'm never alone, learning that there is no separation between me and the love, the power that created me, being comfortable in the cosmic unknown, holding myself in patience and gentleness, in watching and in learning. Laughter and joy and trust soon follow. And the moment comes when it's time to retake the race, the running, indeed, born to run again. 1, 2, 3, 4. The highway's jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. Everybody's out on the road tonight, but there's no place left to hide. Together, Wendy, we can live with the sadness. I love you with all the madness in my soul. Sometimes when I think about all of us as a human collective, it feels like we're the zombie army of the apocalypse. Each missing limbs and eyes and skin, to the woundings of being human, the losses, the betrayals, the fears, the disappointments, flailing around with the dead and decaying flesh of our own victim stories. This zombie army, we're all lumbering towards the finish line, if there is one. And then I begin to wonder what is pulling us forward if we are so wounded by life, covering and hiding our mangled bits as we go. And it is there, I see it. I see it inside all of us. as I see it inside myself and I feel its great mighty beat. It is our hearts that propel us forward in all of our broken bits. The heart knows the way. It was the heart that was born to run, and it has never skipped a proverbial beat or even tripped during the race. Everything that is magical and beautiful and holy in my 16-year-old self, who still sees the drop white ceiling and recessed lighting in Bridget Bulger's basement while she listens to Bruce bellow Born to Run, knows that love is real. My expression of it is perfect, my longing for it is holy, and the miracle of it is now. Someday, girl, I don't know when, we're gonna get to that place where we really wanna go, and we'll walk in the sun. But till then, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Oh, baby, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Come on with me, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Yes, Bruce, thank you for continually reminding me for decades, through the miracle of technology from 8-track to cassette to CDs and iTunes, YouTube and Spotify. You have never let me down. Thank you for singing the song of my heart back to me, calling me back into the light from the dark places where I was hiding. I hear my own footfalls in cosmic time now. The rhythm, the cadence is true. The path is clear and clean and steady. A happy outcome is assured for all. I was born to run. I'm running. And so please, my friends, run with me. It is with a truly grateful heart that I remind myself and all of us, on behalf of Bruce and on behalf of the love that created us, that, baby, we were born to run. So come on with me, tramps like us. Baby, we were born to run. Thank you.
Maureen Claffey. You want to open the door?
Yeah.
You feeling hot?
Well, is everybody comfortable if we open the garage door and let some air in? Yeah? Is anybody not about that? Okay, great.
Okay, well, a couple of songs flashed through my brain during that story, and I love how you totally did not change the names or even the street they lived on, because I know the Bulgers too from high school. Yeah, we both went to Hinsdale Central. That's so funny. I was also reminded of a story in high school in Hinsdale, and the song Born to Run was playing on the radio, and it was like, this is like a scene from a movie, and if I ever do a movie of my life, I'm gonna try to dramatize this, because it was like, when I look back on my brain, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we lived. We were flying down Garfield Street, cranking Born to Run as like loud as the stereo could go, and it had just rained, so there was a little bit of water on the road, and the teenager guy was driving like an idiot, and all of us are saying, slow down, and he's just cruising, and all of a sudden he starts to lose control, and the car swerves, and it goes across the road in slow motion. Picture this in the movie, slow motion, across the lane into a yard where there's big, tall Hinsdale trees, in between the trees, around the trees, through the yard, back onto the road, and continues driving. 1, 2, 3, 4, highway shall we broken here. I swear to God. And we're all like, oh my God, we lived. Whew. It is. And that really did happen. Jeez, idiots. It was like broad daylight on a Tuesday or something. Anyway, I'm gonna do this one. You don't know how much I love you, but I love you like the sun. I'd like to put my arms Sun's getting and it's getting warmer. Tell me spring is just around the corner. I'm sitting watching all the flowers. Birds are singing, getting louder and louder. Here I am, missing you. I will go on loving you. Run, 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 really. I go on needing you. Run, 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 really. Here I go on loving you. Run, 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 really. Here I go on wanting you. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run away. You don't know how much I love you, but I love you like the sun. I'd like to put my arms around you. We could run, 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 run away. We could run, 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 run away. Oh, we could run, run, run. Start to keep my love around you. You don't know how much I need you. Run, 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 run away. Oh, I love you. Run, 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 run away. One more time, let's run, 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 run away. Oh, that's a Jefferson Starship song written by the great Marty Ballin.
Someone left their thong up here?
Woo, woo, woo!
Is that yours, Maureen? Okay.
Somebody's face bra.
Awesome, Cathy Richardson. And also, for our 100th show, we have snacks. So please make your way to the snack
snacks.
bar if
That's
you'd like
so
to have some
cute.
snacks. Pirate Booty and such. Brought to you by Mary Lou Edwards.
Mary Lou.
She went all the way to Costco for us, thank you. And I did get some
Amazing.
cupcakes, even though I was advised against it because of the whole COVID fingers and things. But I'm going to trust that you guys can deal with it if you want a cupcake.
Just pick it up with your mask. It's fine.
Just pick it up with your mouth. Just pick it up with your mouth. It's like bobbing for apples. Oh, bobbing for apples. We'll never be able to do that again. Jeez, COVID. Anyhow, this next fella came out to Voicebox, and he was recommended to us by Terry Falloon. And I remember when he told his story, he just was fantastic. And then he told me, maybe the whole room, the next time he came back, he said, I came here to tell a story, and then I had a little more libations than maybe necessary, and I went home just smiling the whole way. And I just had that picture in my head of this gentleman smiling all the way home, and it made my heart feel so bright, and he's been lighting my heart up ever since. So please welcome my dear friend, Gary Doherty.
Who wants some Cheetos? Oh, I was kind of hoping that the song would be Why Don't We Do It in the Road, but it didn't work out. Okay, it was 1975. I was a couple months into junior college at the College of DuPage. It was like high school, but we had ashtrays. I deserved COD because I was obtuse at Wheaton North High School. If you don't know what obtuse means, look it up later. It was a time when I was transferring my radio listening from WLS's Larry Lujak and his animal stories to a cosmos of FM radio. It was AM in the car because that was all my rusty $200 bone rattler Chevy Vega had. And it was at WXRT and on a dim clock radio putting me to sleep. I was one of those rare, green, almost legal guys who was truly born to loiter. I had no specific skill. I had no future plan. The only thing I was good at was growing a beard. I daydreamed about finding all the crap that had ever been stolen from me. I didn't have any drive. My soul's engine was either idling in a sputtered rumble or it was operating in reverse. I didn't know what a catalytic converter was until one was stolen from me. I always thought it was some kind of sex toy. There was me living with my folks. I couldn't even sweep the garage door without a push broom tutorial from my dad. Dad was convinced I had no capacity to master any skill. He was kind of right. Anyway, on top of this, I was a hopeless virgin, and I wasn't really saving myself for anybody. My car had a craving for 2 or 3 cans of Pennzoil every week. Tuesday and Thursday mornings were spent in a COD classroom talking about Franz Kafka and Hermann Hesse. I always wondered who else was reading those stupid books. One should never read Metamorphosis under the influence of marijuana. I was hoping looks like hopping on here. I was hopping on stepping stones toward an unknown future with a C- average. I wanted to meet a hippie chick, but that cool cat era had ended without a bang. There would be no bohemian woman for me. They had all left Wheaton and Glen Ellen for boyfriends in Ontario. I never checked Carol Stream, though. I had a weekly habit of sauntering into the Johnny B. Good record store in downtown Wheaton. I tried to be cool by reading back covers of 33 1/3 through the cellophane. Did you know Neil Diamond wrote songs for the Monkees? Did you know Tony Tennille from The Captain and Tennille actually sang background vocals on Pink Floyd's The Wall? It might be true. It is true. The guy behind the counter at Johnny B. Good, he had a ponytail. His job was to make me feel inferior. He made me feel stupid instead. He knew stuff I wanted to know. Anyway, he smashed the red life out of a Winston into a glass ashtray. Then he struggled with the plastic protecting album cardboard, and he slipped a Columbia disc on the turntable. He dropped the needle on the Born to Run album. Thunder Road instantly became a major avenue in my head's traffic jam. This was brand new to me. I wanted to hear everything I could about soul engines, suicide machines, runaway American dreams, about drinking warm beer while leaning on the hood of maybe a pink Cadillac. I wanted to know about everlasting kisses. I bought the album. Maybe I could follow this path. I went home. I opened the album like it was a book. It was wordy. I sang along with the lyrics. I played the record 1,000,000 times. A week later, I bought his other records. I went to see him at the Riviera Theater in Chicago, almost 3.5 hours of Bruce. Springsteen must have known a piece of what it was to be me. It felt like it. It was hard. It was really hard to be a saint in the suburbs. This is part 2. You know, I was going to say, I read this to Maureen earlier, and she said, Gary, you need more crap. So this is part 2. I was at 4 minutes, and she said, you need 8. So that's a lot of pressure on me. So it was, okay. Part 2, Born to Run, Gary Doherty. Are we up to 5 minutes yet? It was 2021. I recently drove by the location where Johnny B. Good's record store used to be when I was 19-ish. My life was a bit hollow then. I'm in a similar mode now. I'm a couple of years into retirement. I'm still not born to run, but I'm working on it on a treadmill. Like 19, I have limited responsibilities, you know, getting off the couch and getting the mail, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and cussing at traffic in Berwyn. I'm 63. I don't know if one could describe my life as much of anything. Looking back, I'm not glory dazing. I delivered the Tribune. I did factory work. I operated a microfilm camera. I was a water meter reader. I delivered Gumby's Pizza, did janitor work, was a security guard, never an Andy Frain guy, but anyway. I volunteered as a big brother. I pumped gas at a car wash. I helped a quadriplegic shower and get ready for bed. I rocked babies at a crisis nursery. I ran a support group for divorced people. I drove a truck. I worked at a shelter for teenage runaways. I investigated elder abuse cases. And I worked for the state as a guardian for disabled adults for 28 years. Bruce Springsteen has always been my favorite boss, though. It took me about 6 hazy years to get a bachelor's degree in sociology and social work. It took another 2.5 years to get a master's degree in social work. I don't recommend my path for anyone, so. I have lost a son, a sister, 2 best friends, and a father to premature graves. I divorced. I've driven across the country alone several times. I have a wonderful daughter, son-in-law, and 2 grandkids. I have more books, t-shirts, radios, rock posters, and coffee cups than a man could ever use. My mom is still alive. She likes to remind me that above all other things, I'm still fat. I'm taking her to a doctor appointment tomorrow, so my car still starts. I have a long distance romance. I have friends, the kind of friends that don't ask you to drive them to the airport. But you know, every so often when I'm trying to run on that damn treadmill, my mind might get lost in a gloomy 10th Avenue freeze out. I get sad, I want to quit. Then I might hear the boss. He reminds me, it ain't no sin to be glad you're alive. He gives me hope. I start to believe that maybe, just maybe, I was born to almost jog on this damn treadmill. at least for 30 seconds. Thank you.
Gary Doherty. Oh, that was great. I'm scared that this is a loose. Too low. Hang on. Let's go. Well, you might think I'm fooling for the foolish things I do. You may wonder how come I love you when you get on my nerves like you do. Well, baby, you know you bug me. There ain't no secret about that. Well, come over here and hug me. Baby, I spilled the facts. Well, honey, it ain't your money, 'cause I got plenty of that. I love you for your pink Cadillac, crushed velvet seats, riding down the back, oozing down the street, waving to the girls, feeling out of sight, spending all my money on a Saturday night. Honey, I just wonder what you do there in the back of your pink Cadillac. Well, way back in the Bible, temptations always come along. There's always somebody tempted, somebody into doing something they know is wrong. Well, they tempt you, man, with silver, and they tempt you, man, with gold. And if they tempt you with their pleasures, then the flesh don't surely hold. They say I ain't tempted Adam with an apple, man, but I ain't going for that. I know it was her pink Cadillac, crushed velvet seats, riding in the back, oozing down the streets, waving to the girls, feeling out of sight, spending all my money on a Saturday night. Honey, I just wonder what you do there in the back. Your pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac. Now some folks say it's too big and it uses too much gas. Well, some folks say it's too old or that it goes too fast. But my love is bigger than a Honda. Yeah, it's bigger than a Subaru. Hey man, there's only one thing, the one car that'll do. Anyway, we don't have to drive it. We can park it out and back it. Have a party in your pink Cadillac, crushed velvet seats, riding in the back, oozing down the streets, waving to the girls, peeing out It's great to have an audience. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thanks for everybody who's watching on the stream.
Yeah.
We love having you, and it's so exciting. And just while Maureen is standing up here, I just want to say that this woman here, I met her as I had gone through every kind of therapy that there was, and I was looking for something different. So I was looking for a spiritual advisor, and I was looking, and I got on this webpage, and there was all these different ones, and I came across this picture of this beautiful woman, and I was like, "Who is that?" And she was so striking and beautiful, and her headshot was clearly a professional headshot, unlike the other people on the website. And I looked and I saw that she was an actor from Hollywood, and I was like, she's in the biz. I'm gonna give her a call, and so that's why I went to her house that first time. Anyway,
Client confidentiality. So
she wasn't gonna out me as a client, whatever. But we did become friends.
We did, and I said, let's stop being clients. Let's be friends.
Yeah,
so
and so we did, and we've been doing this. I mean, just from. As a spiritual advisor, it's totally worked out. I mean, like a millionfold for me, because now we're friends, and she's brought me into this community, and just how I've grown as an artist just from doing this show is totally insane. Like, I never sat there and like tried to learn everybody else's song. Like, I was always trying to write my own songs, and now I can like just pick up and play any song, and I didn't know that I could do that until I started doing it, and I never would have known that if we hadn't started doing this thing. So, if you're looking for a spiritual advisor, I would just say that, it is, I put a little investment into a couple of sessions with her, and I've had like a 10-year run of amazing, what they say about tithing, tenfold. I've gotten it back tenfold, and she really does walk the walk, unlike anyone I've ever met before. I mean, she's truly a person, I feel, of integrity and always a willingness and openness to learn and grow herself. And so I love you, and you're amazing. Thank you.
I love you, Cathy. You are a human jukebox. You are the most wonderful thing. God kissed us both on the lips when he brought us together. I mean, that was a holy day. I remember seeing her on stage. I was with my husband. She had slid a CD across the table to me in a session. I was like, isn't that cute? She does music. Saw her at the Rose Bowl. It was her and like everyone who got kicked off of like American Idol, and she came out like a beast. You were like, I don't want to say a beast because you were like a character, and you were intense, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And everybody was just like, what? And then she opened her mouth, and I was like, I know her. I know that lady. A very rare time, because I've been around a lot of talent, and I can count on one-fingered hand how many people drop my jaw like you.
Thank you very much.
I never have
it's amazing. It's humbling, and I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you.
Yay! Man. So funny, you just don't know how fast 10 years, 100 shows go, Like, I remember when we first did our first show, and you were like, what am I doing again? I'm like, just roll with it. The audience is here. And the audience came, and they came sheepishly like our next storyteller. She would come in with her husband, and I'd say to her, you're going to tell a story on stage one day. And she was like, no. And I'd say, every week, every month, you're going to tell a story on stage. And she came, and she told stories, and now she tells stories all over the city. And she's one of those rare and wonderful people who can stump me, like this past week when she was reading her story to me. And I gave her some feedback, and she said, could you be more clear about that? And I was like, Are you being sarcastic? Because I was like, Lisa, you got to fucking do this, and then you got to fucking do that. And she goes, could you be more clear? And I was like, wait, are you being sarcastic? I swear to God. Her reading was so good. She stumped me. She's like, yes, Maureen, I am being sarcastic. So the Jersey girl lives deep in my bones, and she comes out all the time. And I'm so grateful that we've gotten to make such great friends with such extraordinary artists and talents. And I'm just grateful that she's come back to shine her light for us tonight. Please give it up for Lisa Colleen.
Right, so 8 years ago, I was in a bit of a runner slump. Like, I used to love the way my body felt after I ran, sweaty and that really satisfying tired feeling. And now I was just sweaty and tired. So after decades of running, I quit. And then one day I had this vision. I saw myself running happily with a dog. So I Googled running dogs and found that Runner's World deems standard poodles the best endurance runners. Now, those are the big guys. They grow to be like 65 pounds, and they have the really long, skinny legs. I did a little bit more research, and I found out they're crazy smart, and they don't shed. So boom, that's what I need, right? A standard poodle. Now, I've been petrified of big dogs my entire life. But I just kind of pushed that thought to the back of my mind, and I go look at this litter of black standard puppies. And this cute little guy, he runs right up to me, he sits down, he looks me in the eye, and I know it. That's my new running partner. So we stop at the woods on the way home, and I take him for his first ever run. And he scampers this way and that way, and he smells everything, and his enthusiasm is contagious. There he is, like he definitely is my running partner. So I name him Pace, because he and I will run the same pace. Very clever, I know. So at his first checkup, the vet tells me, you got a really good one, which of course I already know. And he says, he's really little. He can't go more than a mile. Don't run him more than that in one stretch. So out we go every morning, and we run our 1 little mile, and then we walk. Now, walking's new to me. Like, I've been running my entire life, running fast, running away from the hard parts of life, running to prove that maybe I am good enough. And now Pace, he has me walking. And then the vet clears him to run 2 miles at a time. So side by side, we run our 2 miles, and then we walk the rest of our hour. And then he's cleared for 3 miles. And that hour of our running and walking becomes our sacred time together. And eventually, we're free to run as far as we want. He did it. My precious pup. He helped me learn to love running again. And as an unexpected bonus, he also helped me learn to love to walk. I became comfortable with those thoughts that I would have, the ones that floated into my head when I wasn't in a hurry. Like, I used to try to outrun those worries, and now I would just sit with my worrisome thoughts. After a few more steps with Pace, I'd see my situation differently, step by step. Pace helped me discover that troubles, they're really just life, a chance to learn. Pace helped me find peace. And how cool is that Pace and peace are just 1 letter apart? It's like we were born to run together, born to walk together. Okay, well, there's just one small issue. Pace does not like all dogs, which I totally understand because I don't like all people. So if he meets a dog that he doesn't like, he barks deep and loud, and he lunges towards them, which, is the exact opposite of peaceful. But there's this part of me that really envies him, because when he doesn't like another dog, you know it. Like, when I don't like another person, I never feel like I can be quite that honest. But even with his little freakouts, and they're often, we're a great team. Like, we're such a great team that I decide we should become a therapy team. I work at a university, and the dogs, they visit once a month, and I think, oh my God, if we get certified, Pace can come to me with work once a month. How fun will that be? Plus, he already knows a ton of tricks. Like, he can take off my socks on command. He can jump through a hula hoop. So I'm sure this is our next adventure. Now, the classes that we have to take and the tests that we have to pass, those are tricky because therapy dogs are not supposed to bark and lunge at other dogs. But miraculously, we pass. Pace is so damn lovable that he charms all the teachers, and they just write, needs a little work on our evaluation form. And I think, well, really, who doesn't need a little bit of work? Right? Now, the dog training ladies, they all suggest, or actually, they really boldly say, like Maureen Muldoon, Lisa, it's all your fault. You're the problem. Which I'm not doing the barking, so I don't understand how it's my problem. And plus, it really doesn't even matter because Pace loves me like exactly as I am. So I bring my precious pup to work on therapy days. He will do any trick for anyone who has treats. So the college kids love him. And they love him so much that I decide to look for somewhere else where we can be a therapy team. You know, somewhere where a little bit of barking won't scare anyone. And I find down the road is the alternative high school. So we head off there, and they love him, love him. Semester after semester after semester, he makes new friends. Like when we walk down the hallway, teachers stop teaching, they come out in the hall just to pet him. And we see kids from semesters ago that are so happy to see him. Like everywhere we go, all I hear is, Pace, Pace, Pace. He's a celeb. Like, dog therapy is not competitive. But if it were, my Pace would win for sure, because he is hands down the favorite. But we can't follow all the rules. Like, for example, there's this greeting you do at the beginning. We can't do it because we can't get that close to the other dogs for fear of, you know. So we just stand at a distance, and I smile and wave as everyone else does their little greeting, and then I hightail it to the gym to get like a prime spot where we can camp where we're not near the other dog so that he'll behave properly. Well, one day, who knows why, he goes crazy, he's barking, he's lunging, one of those other dogs pissed him off. And the kids and I, we can't distract him. We can't get him to calm down. So I take him out in the hallway so that he can kind of get it together. And we walk back in, and there's this teacher, and she's doubled over laughing. And I give her the look, and she goes, the kids think he's an alternative dog. And he is. And I think maybe that's why I love him so much. Like, honestly, I'm shocked by how much I love this dog, how much I emotionally depend upon him. And I realize that I do the math. It's probable that he's going to die before me. And almost daily I look at him and I think, oh my God, what will I do without you? So last March, right, the world shuts down. And this is a dog's dream. We're so happy. After our morning adventure of walking and running, I don't have to go to work. So we can stay home and be together all the time, right? So it's day 4 of isolation. We walk, we run along the lake, and then we take our nap. And I wake up to piles of throw up. And Pace just isn't himself. So I take him to the vet, and because of COVID, I can't even go in with him, which causes both of us tremendous anxiety. Now, I'm assuming he can't be that sick. He just ran miles, and he's only 7 years old. But he is, like, he's pretty sick. And the vet just can't figure out what's wrong with him. What's causing the fever and the other. And then he crashes, so we rush him to the ER. Again, I can't go in with him, which makes me super anxious. And there's tests, and there's procedures, and there's more tests. And they can't save him. And they aren't able to diagnose, like, what caused his death. So they bring him to me, because when your dog dies, they allow you in the building. And they bring him in, and I look at him, and my first thought is, oh my God, you are so gorgeous that even dead you're adorable. And then my next thought is, your work here is done. Because that guy brought so much joy into my life. Like every single day that we were together was just fun. But still, I have no idea, like, what am I going to do the next morning without him? Like, for his whole life, my favorite time of day has been early morning. I wake up and I write and I drink my piping hot, dark coffee. And as I write, Pace is right there by my side. Well, honestly, sometimes he's on top of me. And he'll be patient for a bit. And then he takes that big paw, smacks it on my notebook, and I know he's ready. And that's when we have our run, we have our walk, we have our combo, we have whatever we want. So what in the holy hell am I going to do tomorrow morning, like when I wake up and he's not there? So I wake up and I write just like I always did, and then I put on my running clothes and I run the same route the Pace and I took every single morning. I run along Lake Michigan alone, but somehow it feels like Pace is still with me. And then Lori Lightfoot closes the lakefront. So I'm thrown, but I'm not going to be stopped. So I run in my building, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. So there I am, setting my pace, hauling up the stairs. I'm dripping with sweat. I'm feeling so strong. And I stop dead in my tracks because I see, coming down the stairs, a black standard poodle and his owner. Now, this owner probably thinks I'm catching my breath because I'm doing such strenuous exercise. But oh no. It's this gorgeous dog that has me gasping for air. Did you see my dog Pace? I blurt. And he looks at me kind of confused, so I just keep talking. His picture, it's in the lobby. Pace is our pet of the month. Now, this guy might be thinking, my dog has to pee? And I really don't have time to talk to random sweaty women in the stairwell. But I just keep going. Pace died last week, I tell him. Oh, I'm so sorry, he says. You can pet Augie anytime. So I give Augie just a little pet. And his curly, soft fur, it feels just like Pace. And I want to sit on the ground and have Augie climb up on my lap and bury my head in his soft fur and bawl. But this would scare us all. So I pull it together, I thank him, and I continue my workout. And as I run up those stairs, I think about how lucky I was to run and to walk and to laugh and to cuddle with my Pace. The dog who is just perfect for me. The sweet soul that put the joy back into my running and helped me discover a whole new level of peacefulness. And I am forever grateful to that black, curly-haired pup who is 65 pounds of love.
Lisa Colleen. I'm sorry about your dog. That's a really sad story. I had a cat named James. Well, I'm going to sing you a little song about where he used to sit. Oh, James. I'm having trouble with my plug. Oh, James sits by the window watching the grass grow, watching the world go by. Oh, James watches the birds fly across the gray sky, watching the wind blow. Oh, James, by the window.
I thought you really had a cat named James, Cathy.
I did.
Oh, you did?
That's
You wrote that for him?
Yes, that is totally.
I thought that was going to say professional song.
It is a professional song
Tell us
written by
about-
me, a professional songwriter.
Cathy, what happened to James?
James passed away to the Rainbow Bridge,
Oh.
and he's bouncing along the highway and the fields right now with pace.
Oh. Yay. You know, people who name their cats people names are really cat and dog lovers. That's how you can tell. So that's just a little tip in case you want to know. What? Wally, yeah, I have Wally, Wendell, and Wiggle is our cats' names. So we're going through some W names. So we have our last storyteller, and we have a real treat because Terry Falloon, Mr. Voicebox, really put his heart and soul into this story for you. There will be extra players, so I'm going to have to invite them all to the stage. Mitch Mayer, the mayor of Voicebox, please come up. Terry Falloon, please join us on stage. And please give it up for this fantastic tale of Terry Falloon.
Okay. Okay, thank you, thank you. Great night, and glad you all could be here for the Voicebox's 100th show. This story I'm about to tell actually happened in 1973. I was a freshman in high school, and I do not know, well, 1973 was the years of polyester and bell-bottoms and alternative fashion, you might call it today. So I do not know what possessed me to write this entire story in the vernacular of a 1940s film noir, but that's what I did. So I call it $20 the hard way. I crawled out of the sack that gray October morning around 9:15, wiping sleep from my eyes and fog from my head. The night before I was awake, well after 10 p.m., almost burning the midnight oil, listening as layer upon layer of vinyl dropped with mechanical precision on the record player spindle. I left Coltrane and the Bird for the Hepcats. My jam was Bowie and Zappa. I sleep on eggshells. Too many lousy things happen at night, and I dwell on the lousy things and the lousy people that populate this rock. Lousy, stinking people, like that rat bastard Lou Sylvester and his crew of flim-flam artists. I took a shit. I took a shower. I just turned 15. I didn't shave. I put on some clean jeans, a clean shirt, and clean socks. I was clean, baby, and I didn't care who knew it. Yeah, I was a baby-faced lollipop fresh out of St. Joe's, but I was in the public system now. Freshman year, and things were getting weird. So here's the story, and I'm going to tell it to you straight. Early that year, I started palling around with a couple of mugs who seemed copacetic. There was Monk, the sensitive one, and Hoover, who always cracked wise, and Winnie, who I thought was a palooka, but came as a package deal with Monk and Hoover. We became thick as thieves, tighter than a camel's ass in a sandstorm. And there's nothing I wouldn't have done for them. So it's around 11 a.m., and we're hoofing it to school. Rockville High, home of the Rockville Rams. Now, that joint was lame. It had too many kids and not enough room to hold them. So we went in 2 shifts. The older kids started at 7 a.m. We started at noon. So we had plenty of time every morning to pull capers and hijinks and shenanigans. We sometimes smoked a reefer on the way to school. We smoked coffin nails, too. Old Golds were our brand. We collected the trading stamps. Except Winnie. He smoked menthols, monkey mints, like some broke-dick dog or a dame. This day we stopped at the 7-Eleven for Starbursts and Zots, maybe a grape knee-high. Walking across the parking lot, something caught my eye. Damn, if there wasn't a double sawbuck laying on the asphalt. Andrew Jackson himself looking up at me. Pennies from heaven. Quicker than an alley cat with a firecracker up his keister, I shoved those simoleons in my britches. We all eyeballed that greenback at the same time, but I was the quickest. But I'm a Democrat, see? So I walk in and tell the guy behind the counter, hey, Mac, how's about turning this 20 into 4 5s? Which he did. And I turned around like Junior Santa Claus and gave Monk and Hoover and even that Newport smoking chump Winnie 5 clams each. We were made in the shade and started making plans on how to spend that windfall. Not for nothing, but $20 in 1973 is like $117 today. So each fiver was worth about 30 bucks. Real money. As we walked up the hill to Rockville High, I cautioned the gang, keep your trap shut about that dough. Loose lips sink ships. We don't want anyone knowing the score. We split up and went our separate ways for first period. Later, as I'm walking to second period, I had that old battle axe Miss Morrill for Western Civ. I run into Monk. He's looking edgy and starts flapping his lips like a ventriloquist's dummy on beans.
They took it. They took my fiver.
He was yammering like a sorority girl. Hey, don't flip your lid, man. What happened?
Sylvester and his mooks. They shook me down before first period. They heard we found a 20 and they said it's theirs.
They're goddamn liars, Monk. They snowed you, man. You should have told them to take a flying fuck at a rolling donut. Monk felt bad enough about coughing up the loot, so I didn't bust his chops. The bell rang for the next class, and I had to scram. Oh, well, at least we still had 15 bucks between us.
Somebody had to.
Except we didn't. After third period, I bounced into Winnie at his locker. He's shaking like a dog shitting peach pits. I said, what's buzzing, cousin?
Those eggs stole my cash and left me with Bobkiss.
Sylvester?
Yeah.
Now I don't want no dust up with Sylvester's gang. They were hard men, sophomores, real trouble boys. I think one of Sylvester's brothers was up the river on a B&E rap. They were harder than Chinese algebra, and that's no lie. I knew they were gunning for me, so I was in a real pickle, in the hot seat, you know, like sitting on a stick of TNT, and things were about to blow. But I wasn't about to let that turkey Sylvester and get his mitts on my dough. They took down Monk, sure. And Winnie, yeah, easy as duck soup, like shooting pigeons. But I had one advantage. They couldn't put the finger on me. I was just a name, a phantom. They knew my crew from public school, see? But I spent the last 8 years in the Penguin House, St. Joe's. So I was like Claude Rains, you know, the invisible man. Plus, Sylvester was a dim bulb, the kind of fathead that thought Moby Dick was a social disease. I was hip to their play. Besides, we still had $10 between us. Sitting in my Spanish class, some babe bends my ear.
Hey, Terry, you better watch your ass, because Sylvester is after you.
I know those mugs were dogging me. I didn't need no chippy telling me what's up. I'd been looking over my shoulder all day, nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But I was slippery as an eel in a jelly factory. I dodged him, like a bachelor dodges the altar. He wanted me to run. Well, I was born to run. that was not pre-rehearsed, that one. I just hoped I had the moxie to get through the day. It was Friday, see? And I figured I wouldn't run into Sylvester over the weekend. And by Monday, this whole thing would blow over. I wondered what the odds were that I was going to make it. As the day passed, the thought of a run-in with Sylvester weighed on me, heavy as a boarding house dumpling. I avoided hitting the head all day, and by sixth period, my kidneys were floating. I raced from class to class, faster than a jackrabbit in a prairie fire, going in before the bell rang, which was not done. I was distracted all day, didn't even light up when Eileen O'Brien called my name. She probably thought I was giving her the bum's rush. I was waiting for that last bell to ring, like some palooka between the ropes with Joe Louis. I was scared, sure I was, but I was half thrilled too. It was like taking a ride on the Thunderbolt, that rickety old roller coaster at Riverside Park up in Agawam. I didn't know if I was going to survive. Maybe I was going to get the crap beat out of me. But I knew that in that moment, I was truly alive, full of juice, electric, sizzling with excitement, like a marquee on 42nd Street. I didn't ask to be in this jam, but I had to see it through. I was no rube, no weak sister, and I didn't like Brunos like Sylvester trying to bunko me. I was determined to make it through the day. After that class, I ran into Hoover, and he gives me the lowdown. He got nabbed in the locker room right after playing floor hockey. Poof, his fiver vanished like a fart in a hurricane. That news was strictly from Dixie and left me feeling lower than whale shit because I had plans for that cash. I figured we'd pool the money and buy us a bag of Mexican tea. Oh well, at least we still had $5 between us and only 2 periods to go. So I zigged and zagged the rest of the day, and when that final bell rang, I pulled a Rhett Butler. Yeah, I was gone with the wind. Those guys never caught up with me, and I still had my fin. That night, me and the boys meet up, and we're hooting it again, because none of us we're hoofing it again, because none of us sad sacks owned a crate. There was a party up the road at some Slim's shack, and we wanted in. When we meet up, Hoover says,
"Falone, you lucky shit, you must have a horseshoe up your ass."
And I says, "No, man, it's my $5. And I whip out that fin and smile the smile of the redeemed. Hoover had some reefer, and I had 5 clams. So we decided to get some giggle juice and kick it a little before we went to the bash. Drinking age in Connecticut was 18 at the time, and we were only 15. But good old Monk was 6'3" and hairy, so he came in handy. He bought a 6-pack of Heineken, which I'd never even heard of before. But I heard it was great, and we sat in a cemetery near the dame's house smoking and drinking. But we were respectful of the stiffs taking a dirt nap all around us. After we were sufficiently primed, we went to the party. It was an outdoors affair with a blazing bonfire, certain to be a gas. Mostly freshmen, many of whom had prior run-ins with Sylvester and his boys. Turns out our story circulated that day like the late edition of the Hartford Courant. We were a tad notorious, and I was the top dog because I was the only one who escaped those upperclassmen hoods. And then, who do I see walking into the yard but Sylvester and his torpedoes? looking like the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I swallowed hard, trying to man up. All the while, my small store of courage is doing a fast fade. They walked right up to us, all businesslike, and I felt all my false bravado vanish like a hooker's virtue. Sylvester walks up to us, smirking and laughing derisively at Monk, Hoover, and Winnie. The tension in the air was thicker than the smoke from the bonfire. So
You're Falloon, huh?
yeah.
Where's my $5?
It's gone. I spent it on beer. My voice cracked. Silence. 50 people in that yard, and no one said a word. People stopped breathing. Time stood still.
Well, give me the beer then.
It's gone. We drank it in the cemetery. More silence. The longest 10 seconds in the history of the world.
Well, at least you got some out of that $20.
As he walked away like the goddamn gorilla that he was. That son of a bitch. I knew it. Winnie was confused. Monk was relieved. Hoover was pissed off. I was laughing like an idiot run away from Bedlam. He took us for a ride, boys. We got shucked, I said. Sylvester and his goons didn't hang around long. Like I said, it was a freshman party. Later on, Eileen O'Brien sidles up to me all nice next to the bonfire. I turned my attention away from Sylvester and the day's events. I had other things on my mind. Thank you. Thank you, Sylvester. You're badass.
Terry Falloon. All right. Well, I have a song. I have to pull up a chart. I was so busy actressing that I. Thank you. Thank you. All right. This is just in honor of 15-year-old Terry Falloon. Hang on. I have to tune. I'm sorry. I hate dead air. Everyone here is eating snacks, for those of you who are at home wondering what was happening. 100 show cookies. That sounds nice. And we want to give it up to Colin and Gary in the booth here at the Jam Lab.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. check ignition, and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in the most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far from the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating in my tin can, far above the moon? Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
I didn't realize my thanks. I didn't realize my guitar wasn't on until the very end.
It sounded amazing.
I have to remember to kick my cable before I start next.
Cathy Richardson, the one, the only. Next month is May, and we're doing CeeLo's Forget About You. So if you have a story about your mom, I don't know, it's not really a good tie-in, but we might have some nice mom stories because it's Mother's Day. Any also, or stories about people that you want to forget about, like old lovers. Let's just do that. We don't have any storytellers to tell yet, so all the spots are full.
Wait, what's the song?
CeeLo, Forget About You.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then June, we have Melissa Etheridge.
Sweet.
Yeah, with The Way You Do.
Oh, awesome.
And we have a sponsor.
Yay.
Yeah, Deep Eddy Vodka is our sponsor. So we'll be having giveaway bags and treats and drinks for everyone. Yeah, so still bring your thermos. Just fill it with something that would go with vodka. And we'll do you decent. Yeah, Deep Eddy Vodka. So that'll be pretty cool. And we're going to raise money for June for PFLAG.
Awesome.
Yeah, so come on out, and we're going to open up the back, and we'll have a big festival, so we hope you all join us for that. Tell your friends. Meanwhile, come on up, Storytellers. Oh, flowers! Aw.
Legion of friends and
Aw, thank you guys. Oh my God.
for all you guys do. These are various friends. I'm not even sure who they're all from.
Oh,
This is amazing. Thank you guys. I was not expecting gifts. Thank you.
I know. Well, all the storytellers, come on up tonight, and we'll do a nice bow. Mitch, come on up on stage. Come on this way. It's short. The shortcut. Take the shortcut. You know. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Keep telling your stories.
Ladies, get in front.
Lisa, Colleen, Maureen, Cathy, Gary, Bernie, Jenny,
Lisa, come on over.
Mitch Mayer, and Cathy Richardson.
Thank you.
Maureen Muldoon, ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Thank you. We get to open our presents now.
All righty.
Thank you, Jam Lab. We'll be back.